I think the problem is Clara and Virginia are advocating for Paige, and Paige doesn't even want to advocate for herself.
Now Julio made me Pupio. Now I might hit your phone up with that.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nelly V. I hope y'all are having a great week. It has been very hectic for me, just super busy. You know, if you guys are in Texas, if any of my subscribers are in Texas, I hope you guys are okay. I'm sending love and prayers your way with everything going on with the weather. It's just crazy. Whew. This episode was crazy. Like, I'm just gonna channel my inner Clara, and I'm gonna be like, let's take a temperature check of the room. How are y'all feeling after this episode? Because we need a temperature check, because there was so much going on. Like, as somebody who was taking notes, like, it's just all over the place. Like, I had to start typing because it was just all over the place. I was like, was this a honeymoon, or was this like the couples retreat that usually happens at the end of the season? Because there was just so much drama. And then, you know, I hate when the episodes are like so many group interactions with the couples, because you got to look at everybody. You got to look at what's being said, what's not being said, the body language. There was just so much going on. So I have a lot of thoughts, but I already know, like, you know, I probably will forget something. And so y'all leave comments, y'all fill in the gaps, you know. So yeah, let's get into this video. Let's get into it. I'm gonna start with what happened individually, like if the couples had any individual personal development, and then I'll get into like their group interactions at the end. And I guess, you know, yeah, we'll try to tie it all together. All right, okay. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Join the family, subscribe. Let's get this video to 50 likes, okay? I know y'all can do it for me. Let's get this video to 50 likes, and please subscribe and comment and join the fam. All right, without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, we're gonna start with Haley and Jacob. So, okay, Jacob said that Haley makes a lot of vague statements. Like, she says like something's missing, and she's not, like, you know, being receptive to him. She's saying things like, I need time. You know, he doesn't know how to read her. He basically asked her, you know, what level of like physical, you know, intimacy are you comfortable with, like holding hands, things like that. During that whole conversation, when I say Haley looked like she wanted to run, the girl was like, she looked like she was looking for the exit, okay? And it's like, this is my thing with Jacob. Her family told you, don't apply too much pressure. She'll open up. Like, they gave you advice on how to, you know, read her. And then she's saying things like, I need time, blah, blah, blah. So you need to read the room. Jacob is like, oh, I'm following Pastor Cal's advice. Like, he's like, oh, if you treat this like a first date, we're gonna end up divorced and just friends. And I get that. You do have to treat it with a little bit more acceleration. However, adjust to your partner's needs, you know? She said, I feel like we hit a wall. Haley said, I feel like we hit a wall, and I feel like our connection is not getting deeper. You know, and it's not getting deeper because y'all are not talking about the important things. You know, Jacob, his conversation is very surface level, and that's why she's not feeling connected. You know, women, if we are not feeling emotionally connected, we're not just gonna grab your hand and hold your hand. Like, why would she want to do that if she doesn't like you or she doesn't know you enough yet? You know, so I feel like their dynamic is very, because Jacob is so socially awkward, they're not talking about the nitty gritty. Like, we haven't seen no deep conversations with them yet. So they will be stuck at a wall because they're not talking about what needs to be talked about. However, I'm glad she told him, because, you know, she looked like she had just been going through the motions and kind of faking it. So I'm glad they actually have finally had a conversation about it. I was a little disappointed to find out that they had sex and that they consummated their marriage, because of the way Haley, she was like, oh, we were drunk. And I was like, why not? He's my husband. First of all, you did not sound enthusiastic about it. And now Jacob is connecting the dots that ever since, I guess, they did that, you know, she's been, I guess, having her guard more up, you know, not receptive to him. So he's questioning himself, which I kind of feel bad. But at the end of the day, there's a level of communication that's not being had. Haley said she feels like her and Jacob view the relationship differently. You know, she's seeing this more like a relationship and she wants to take things slow. He's seeing this like we're instantly gonna be together forever. And that's definitely, you know, what's causing the disconnect. I do wish Haley, because I'm tired of Haley. She keeps saying like, I've just been single for so long and da-da. And it's annoying to me because I'm like, okay, you knew you were getting married. Let it go. Adjust. You've had a couple days now to adjust. Okay, you are married, you know, but I can tell she's feeling a little suffocated because the girl tried to escape. Okay, she tried to escape, and I wish they had showed this in the episode because, you know, while they were getting ready to pack at the end of the honeymoon to go back home to Atlanta, she said, I guess she told Jacob she wanted to go to a girls' night with the other, you know, the other wives. And I guess when Jacob went downstairs, he saw that there was other husbands there. But my thing is, you know, first of all, I feel like, I don't think she's lying. Even though he's like, she's lying, I'm like, I really feel like it probably started off as a girls' night and the other couples probably brought their husbands because they're feeling their husbands. Maybe, you know, that's what happened. And Haley is not feeling you. She wanted some space. She wanted a breather. She wanted to vent. And, you know, but the fact that I guess, I don't really think that she saw him and bolted. I don't think that happened, y'all. I don't know why, but I just don't think that she would be like that. But whatever. He says that, Jacob says Haley saw him and bolted the other way, so he's feeling a type of way about that. I just don't think it was intentional, but it obviously did happen because he obviously was very hurt. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think that he needs to just like apply less pressure. Her family said that, she's saying that with her actions and her body language. Like, you just have to be willing to adjust. I'm just wondering how long it's been since Jacob has been in a relationship too, because it's like, I feel like he's not, you know, making her feel comfortable. And she's obviously not going to she's not going to initiate physical contact if she's not comfortable. Anyways, and then the preview for next week, it's looking like things are getting a little worse between them. So hopefully now that they're back in this, you know, back at home, they can get some counseling from the experts and, you know, figure out their situation if they're gonna make it or not. Haley she said like, oh, I'm starting to like him, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. She said that towards the beginning of the episode. So clearly by the end of the honeymoon, she might not have been feeling him anymore. But yeah, I don't know. There's still hope for them, but it's real rocky. It's real rocky. Next, we're gonna go to Briana and Vincent. Now, didn't I tell y'all last week? Vincent is gonna get tired of Briana. And lo and behold, it happened. And I'm glad they finally had that moment, you know, because Vincent was like, you know, even to the other guys when they hung out in the beginning, he was like, you know, everything is perfect, everything is good, like I really like her, but I can see the bossiness becoming a problem, you know? And then, you know, they showed the scene of them in the bathroom getting ready. She's like, you know, pick up this, blah, blah, blah. I didn't feel like that was super bossy. I felt like she was still saying please and things like that. But I mean, if she's doing that all day, ordering him around and just like, you know, she was washing her face. He was like, oh, use this. Do you floss? Blah, blah, blah. The man has been washing his face and flossing his teeth for 20-something years. He doesn't need you to do that, you know, to remind him. It's like, stop trying to control everything, okay? Let him be, you know? So before they go to bed, Vincent is like, you know, I just don't like to be rushed, you know? He is a patient, chill person, and Briana is like, press. So they go to bed, and they're having their, Brianna's trying to do a temperature check of her own. And she's like, did I have I annoyed you today or something like that? And he is kind of just quiet. And I'm like, Vincent, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in, because that's going to be detrimental to y'all's marriage. But he does later tell her, we later find out about their conversation. But then during that, Brianna's like, well, you annoyed me today. And again, I just don't like that. She obviously just wanted to tell him what he did to her. She didn't really care about if she annoyed him, because she knew she annoyed him, because you asked that question on purpose. So anyways, when they get to talk about it, Vincent is like, well, I kind of perceived, her assertiveness as disrespect. And Brianna took it as like, I thought he said I was being rude. And I feel like they had a very good reflective moment. She was like, I don't want to come off bossy. I don't mean to do this, da-da-da. Now, I don't know how much I believe that, because at this point, your family has said this about you, so you're kind of conscious. I feel like you're conscious. But she needed to hear it from Vincent, because she's trying to build a life with Vincent. And even though she doesn't think she's that bossy, or she was communicating in a good way, he said, listen, this is how I perceived it. And I like that they were using statements like that. Like, I took it like this, and I took it like this. But they had a conversation. They were able to get to the bottom of it. She was like, okay, I'm gonna adjust. And she was very receptive. So I'm gonna give her kudos for that. I am very proud of her for that. And I'm glad that they're having these conversations again on the honeymoon, and not, weeks later. So, yeah, hopefully she's able, because this is part of her nature at this point. And just because Vincent brings it up doesn't mean it's not going to be a problem again. So I just hope that they are able to respect one another and still talk about it, and hopefully it gets better. All right, Virginia and Erik. They had a lot going on, yet nothing going on at the same time, because they had too much time to be in other people's business. But anyways, now you can tell these two have very different perceptions of what's going on between their marriage, okay? Erik is with the guys, lit, talking, can't even open his eyes, talking about, everything is great, like, we could have had sex in, the first day, but, we're just working on our connection, and this is what I came into the experiment for, blah, blah, blah. Over the moon, bragging, flexing, just trying to act like everything is all good. Virginia is with the girl. She's talking about, I see some issues. She's pro-choice, pro-gay marriage. She's bringing up the friends thing, the guy friends, which is important to her. She obviously goes out more than him. And I couldn't tell. I think that Erik was just trying to flex in front of the guys. I don't know if this is my thing. This is what I think, actually. Because Erik, in his confessional, he was like, he said something like, I really like Virginia and everything, but I am scared about how she's gonna be as a wife, And I'm like, so why are you telling everybody everything is all good if you have concerns about her, Because you don't have to do that. Like, everybody's gonna find out anyways, Either way, I think that, Erik is controlling. And I think that he thinks that he can change Virginia, because he keeps on saying things like, they had this conversation. Again, I didn't like that they had this conversation while they were drunk, but he was like, I'm not gonna go out as much as you, and I really love my life, and I want you to be included in my life. Meaning, I need you to slow down and change, He thinks that he's gonna get somebody like his mom, like that she's going to stop going out for him and just be a stay-at-home wife while he flies and does his stuff. And Virginia is clearly saying, I am not going to change. She said, I'm going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay? And I was like, girl, you can't be, there's problems with that, obviously. You are not single anymore. You cannot be out on the town every weekend. And she's like, my friends, we do this. You are married now, so something has to shift. So there's just give and take, She can't go out every week, those 3 days, but she could pick one day. But Erik, it seems like he's like, yeah, I'm not the one. And you said if it didn't affect y'all's marriage, you would be okay with it. But now his true colors are starting to show, because he clearly had this one night of trying to go as hard as Virginia, and he could not keep up. Okay. And I think that Erik is just very scared that Virginia is going to cheat. Like, he just keeps saying, like, there has to be boundaries and there has to be this. And Virginia's like, I'm gonna come home to you, blah, blah, blah. Erik, it's gonna be an issue. It's gonna be an issue because it's gonna bother him. It's gonna bother him. These people are not on the same page. They're not on the same page at all. So I think that they want to be together, but it's going to be hard for them to be together. All right, let's go into Ryan and Clara. They didn't really have too many like individual conversations this week, but we do find out that they consummated their marriage, or it's kind of implied, because first Clara's like, oh, Ryan has asked that I keep things private, but then in the same breath she's like, but we do have a physical relationship. So I'm like, okay, you want us to know something is going on. You thought you was respecting your man by keeping his wishes, but you basically still told us that y'all consummated the marriage, or that y'all are getting physical. So yeah, so Clara is telling the girls, the other wives, that me and Ryan pretty much see eye to eye on everything. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better husband. If I put him in a, you know, if I asked what I wanted, put it in a factory, Ryan would have came out, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, from the conversations that we see as the viewers, y'all are not seeing eye to eye on everything, because last week we had the whole religion conflict, and then this week it's like, oh, I just feel blessed to have Ryan. It's like, first we didn't even know if you believed it, you know, like, so that's just a little confusing to me. Ryan, on the other hand, he didn't say anything overly great or overly negative about her. He just basically said, you know, she's more outspoken than me, and I think that's new for him, because you know, Clara is such a wild card, and you know, we see that she speaks her mind, and I gained a lot of respect for Clara just seeing how she moved in this episode, because she was giving good advice to Virginia with her situation with Erik and the whole guy friends thing. I believe she had true intentions with talking to Chris about the Paige situation and everything. Like, I think that Clara is a good girl now. I think, you know, she has good intentions. She's a good friend. And I don't like the way Ryan handled that situation at all. Okay, I gained respect for Clara in this episode, but Ryan is going down. I think Ryan just really wants to control his image on TV. He really wants to, I think, you know, coming from that religion background, his parents being ministers, he don't like no drama, but I feel like Clara was standing up for what is right, and she, you know, she didn't like the way, you know, the whole situation is turning out for Paige, and she spoke up on that. And at the end, Ryan is like, oh, you just really got to control how you say things, da 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 da, and you're trying to stifle her, and I don't think that's right. You're trying to censor her. It's controlling. It's controlling in the same way that Erik is controlling. It's just a little bit more subtle. I think there's similarities within their relationships, because Erik and Ryan are the more reserved partners, and Virginia and Clara are like, you know, free-spirited and doing whatever they want. And you cannot come up into this marriage and try to change her. You know, well, Ryan cannot come up into this marriage and try to change Clara. Like, she didn't come out of pocket. She didn't say anything disrespectful. And we'll get into the group interactions later. So like, there was no reason for you to be like, you need to control how you talk or whatever. Because at the end of the day, Ryan did not stand up for Clara. When Chris was talking to her all out of pocket, Ryan didn't intervene. And so like, as Clara, I would have felt some type of way. Like, you know, you're not protecting me. Ryan even said at the end, he was like, you know, it stresses me when people don't behave in a way that I thought they would, or do what is right. And I get that, but that doesn't have anything to do with people. That has to do with you. You feeling like you need to control people's reactions. You know what I'm saying? And we see that, you know, at the dinner, you know? So anyways, again, I still don't know if this is a great match. I like them individually. I'm you know, like I said, Ryan is, but like I'm starting to like Clara. I'm starting to respect her a little bit more. Should they be together? I don't know. Like I said, maybe they talked behind closed doors and they got a handle on the whole religion thing and what they're disagreeing with. But you see how the conversations are leaving us hanging with, you know, what is the consensus of what they agree on. So I don't know if that's just not what's being shown to us. And things are great. Obviously, they now have a physical relationship. So all is well, because I was wondering if Ryan was attracted to her. But, you know, I guess they are working that out. So, all right, let's go to Chris and Paige. Let's go to some of their individual conversations. So, well, first of all, Chris with the guys had a little altercation with Erik. And Erik is like, you know, you're not manning up. He didn't say you're not manning up, but he said you gotta man up. And Chris was very defensive and offended by that. I don't think that he meant manning up. I think that was a poor choice of words, but the man was drunk, as we know. So I think what Erik meant was that Paige is staying in this experiment for you, so you need to reassure her that you are in it and that you are committed to her. Because the only thing he said, he said in the room earlier, like, I really want to commend you on how you're handling this. It's not going unnoticed. You showed a lot of grace, blah, blah, blah. Like, trying to give her a little trophy for putting up with your BS. Just, anyways, but I think Erik was just like, you're not stepping up to the plate, and, you know, you got to show her, go, you know, above and beyond, which we'll talk about that later, above and beyond, and show her that you care for her and you're here for her. And I think Erik was right to point that out. Again, the delivery was wrong. So then Paige is talking about how she's so excited for Chris to meet her dog. And she asked him if you're gonna help take him out. And Chris was like, no, like, I'll play with it, but you could take care of it. I'm like, boy, don't you not have a baby on the way? You don't even want to take care of a little dog? And then it seemed like that really upset Paige. Like, she was acting like that was the final straw for her. She was like, I'm saying that I'm okay with being a bonus parent and you're not even gonna help with the dog? I'm like, are you trying to use that as leverage? Like, oh, I'm gonna take care of your new baby if you take care of my dog? Like, kind of like the tit for tat. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, girl, out of all the things you want to get upset about, you're getting upset about the dog. It's like, why are you okay with being a bonus parent to a stranger that you just met 6 days ago? Why? All right, let's go into the group interactions. So the ATV rides got very heated. Now, I appreciate Clara, only Clara, coming to talk to Chris about everything. The only reason why I say that is because Virginia has made it known in the confessionals and everything that she doesn't like Chris. And I think that if it would have been just Clara, it would have been a more civil conversation, because Virginia was purposefully kind of taking shots and stuff. She was like, if it were me, I wouldn't have done this, da da da. And it's like, okay, like, you already said that. Like, I don't know, I felt like they were purposefully, now don't get me wrong, because Chris was disrespectful. And there's no tolerating that. But y'all cannot, again, poke a bear and then not expect for him to react. Like, he already said he doesn't want y'all in his business. And I think the problem is Clara and Virginia are advocating for Paige, and Paige doesn't even want to advocate for herself. You know, you can't be going harder than the one who's in the marriage. Okay? Clara is like, oh, you know, Paige is withdrawn. This is not the same Paige that I met 2 weeks ago. And that's all true. But do y'all notice that Paige acts one way in the group interactions and she acts another way with Chris? You know, in the group interactions, Paige is like withdrawn and just sad. And she told the girls, you know, I am just seeing this marriage. I just need to see it day by day. She is, you know, giving the impression that she's sticking in it because she believes in marriage. But when Paige is with Chris, it's a different story. Like she loses her head. She's acting all giddy. She's wearing lingerie. You can tell that they're still being physically intimate. Like, she's acting all cuddly with Chris, and she's acting a different way in front of the group. So of course, you know, Clara and Virginia are like, Paige is not happy. What are you doing to make her happy? Why are you not going above and beyond? And Chris is like, mind your business. I am going above and beyond. But it's like, it's not being shown, you know? So I get it. I think that they had good intentions and everything. Like I said, I think that Clara had good intentions, but it was just the delivery, in their business. Like, it's like at the end of the day, just you need to be talking to Paige. You don't need to be talking to Chris. You need to be talking to Paige. If you really are, you've already said you're not friends with Chris. You already said you don't like Chris. So you need to be talking to your girl, and you need to be helping her, empower her to leave this situation. You don't need to be talking to Chris. That's just how I feel. And then when Chris made that above and beyond comment, he said, I am going above and beyond by telling her, my guy? First of all, you didn't even want to do that. So you are doing nothing. You are doing the bare minimum. Talking about you going above and beyond. All right, so y'all know the conversation got mad heated, F-bomb, you know, and then Ryan and Paige are on the sidelines. That's what I'm saying. Ryan did not, you know, come intervene, and that was like, come on now, like, that's your wife. And Chris was out of pocket the way he was speaking to them, out of pocket. And I feel like it didn't even need to get to that point. Erik, he tried to step in. Erik, once again, tried to touch Chris. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all are not cool. Y'all are at odds. Y'all are enemies. Don't touch him. Yeah. The whole time this argument was going on, I was like, this is the man of God that you're defending, Paige. Like, the man that's cursing out these women, acting a fool, acting just disrespectful. Like, it didn't even need to get to that point at all. And then he was so petty he purposefully was like, I'm gonna go on the bus ride and make it a living hell. Like, that was not cool. I did not like that. All right, let's transition to the dinner. So I did feel like, you know, Chris was honest and tried to apologize, because, you know, you out here, you ruining everybody's honeymoon, just bringing drama. Paige is talking about, oh, I don't want that to be the image we're associated with. Every time Chris and Paige come around, it's drama, and, you know, that's not who we are. Newsflash, that's who you've been the whole season. You are the drama of the whole season, okay? Like, yeah. But anyways, I do feel like, you know, Chris came sincere. The only thing about it was, it just seemed like it was Paige that had to, again, open up the floor. It was Paige, it seemed like it was Paige who was making him apologize. It seemed like Paige had to be like, it was wrong for you to do this. And maybe he knew it was wrong, he knew it was out of pocket, but like, it was still, like, it's not in his nature, because he's not a man of God for real. He doesn't feel bad, you know? Now, again, Erik and Virginia are late. And I really feel like if they had been on time to at least see Chris's apology, the night would not have gone left like that. Again, who knows if Chris is being honest or not with the whole apology or whatever, but at least, you know, you could have taken it for face value, you know? He apologized to Ryan and Clara even apologized back, even though she didn't have no reason to, because she didn't do anything wrong. So, you know, like, he was trying to make amends. So Erik and Virginia come late, have no context of the situation, and they just come in, and he's like, I just need you to know that you can't talk to Virginia like that ever again. Which, of course, he was totally valid in saying that, because Chris needed to be put in his place and needed to know, like, you can't be talking to people like that. Most definitely. Where things went wrong is when they started cutting each other off. He basically said, you know, Erik was like, you were borderline scaring people, blah, blah. And it was like, you know, you're not letting him finish. Like, Chris actually was mellow in the beginning. Like, his tone was mellow, and then it just kind of skyped up. And then Erik was like, you know what, let's just go. Like, I feel like he kind of gave up. And it's like, no, like, if you came in on 10 you came in to defend your wife, and then midway through the situation, because Chris is responding back, you kind of gave up. So I kind of didn't like that for me, because I just felt like the conversation was just getting started, and Erik had just was like, okay, like he dismissed him. I don't know, that's how I took it. Either way, then Vincent coming in trying to stop everything. Nobody was gonna get hurt, okay? Nobody was gonna get hurt. Anyways, they all, you know, go their separate ways. Everybody cools off. You know, Erik, when he was like, he was about to come at me, like, that was funny too. Just like, you know, white men to be like playing the victim when you kind of came in and attacked Chris first. You didn't have no context to the situation, you know? You came in with your mission, and just because Chris is like communicating, like, I don't know. I feel like both of them had some fault in that conversation. Vincent and Briana are defending, you know, Chris and Paige and everything. And it's like, y'all weren't even there. So please, okay? Y'all don't have this situation. So anyways, it was just a hot mess. Jacob is like, where's my food? This man, what I like about Jacob though, this is what I'll say. Jacob, every time they ask him about the other couples, I don't know if it's just because he's bitter because things are not working out with him and Haley, but every time they ask him about the other couples, he's like, it's none of my business. Like, I mean, it's too early to tell. Where's my food? Where's my plate? Where's my steak? Where's my steak and eggs? You know, he's not concerned about the other couples. He's concerned about him and Haley. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about Jacob, I will say. He minds his business, which I think that's what everybody learned today. Everybody learned that Chris and Paige, they drama, let's work on our own marriage. That's I hope that's the lesson everybody went home with today. So let's wrap it up with Chris and Paige, because they do have another moment at the end when they're packing up their stuff. And Chris basically tells Paige, I have been, you know, thinking about getting back with my ex. You know, I do still love her. I do not want another man raising my child, blah, blah, blah. And Paige is like, I'm like, girl, you had to have known that this man was thinking about that. He just met you. And you keep bringing up, oh, we took vows and we're married. Like, y'all, those words don't really mean anything at this point in time. Y'all are 6 days in, you know? Even though he told you like, oh, my wife comes first, the reality is people want to raise children with their baby moms and their baby fathers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was acting like, well, I mean, I guess she felt a little blindsided, which was correct, because Chris was like, well, you didn't ask me what my plans were, and you didn't, you know, it's not like I'm withholding information. You are though, because you should have been going above and beyond to reassure me and to be transparent with me with what you're talking about with your baby moms. Like, it should not be on Paige to be asking these questions. You should be more forthcoming with information. Then Chris says, basically, yesterday after you prayed for me, I'm becoming spiritually attracted to you. And Paige just melts. Like, that was the best compliment ever. It's like, first of all, what does that even mean? Spiritually attracted to you? Because the girl can pray? I'm not understanding. And then it's like, every time Chris says something related to faith and God, Paige is like, okay, like she wants to be associated, I guess, as being a woman of God, but this man is not a man of God. So I don't know why his opinions matter to you. Like, he's saying one thing, but his actions, the whole entire honeymoon have showed you he is not really walking the walk. He uses the faith to get Paige to, like, you know, be vulnerable. And I think that's why she's still sleeping with him, because she's just being fed all these sweet nothings in her ear. It's very odd to me, but yeah. And anyways, this was clearly just a horrible honeymoon for them, a horrible honeymoon for Paige and Chris. And I already told y'all I'm giving her 2 more episodes. So this is one. She has 1 episode left. We're gonna see what happens, because she keeps saying she's done, and then, you know, again, Chris says something about her faith, and she's right back. She's just right back, like nothing ever happened. Like this whole hot mess of a honeymoon didn't happen right in front of you. The man is borderline embarrassing. Not even borderline. The man is embarrassing. It's just a mess. Anyways, I'm sure there was, you know, some things that I missed. So comment below some observations you saw in the episode. Let me know how you feeling about how this honeymoon went, you know, and please like this video. Get this video to 50 likes, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.